That is it, lads. That is the game. That is the series. The Indiana Pacers have gone and they've beat the New York Knicks in 7 games. The Knicks don't know when to give up, and they are an incredible team. The Knicks are an incredible team. And you've got to give credit where credit's due when it comes to this New York Knicks team. They fought. And they fought hard. Through this whole series, so many injuries. For people, like, I'm currently live right now when I'm recording this, and people are saying the whole city of New York is deflated and they don't think the Knicks are going to get back to this stage. Man, I don't understand why the city can be so deflated after this loss, because you can't. There are there are not terrible losses, and this is not one of them, because look, their best player by the end of the game was Donte DiVincenzo, and I like Donte DiVincenzo. He is not going to be the best player ever on a team. Like, the man is not going to be any sort of team's like standout player, and that's fine. Jalen Brunson went and fractured his hand, so he could be out for the whole summer. So obviously he's not going to end up getting like called up to the Olympics team at any stage. Donte DiVincenzo has absolutely balled out, but like, they were down Mitchell Robinson. OG Anunoby could barely move today. He could barely move. Mitchell Robinson's gone. Isaiah Hartenstein spent half the day throwing the ball to the other team off inbounds. But it was a really good series, good playoff run for the Knicks, especially with the injuries they had. Obviously, Randall being injured before it. So, yeah, if I was the Knicks, they put up a hell of a fight. But Indiana were just healthier. Simple as that. Indiana were just a healthier team. And they've had those advantages for both the last series. They've had the advantages. They were healthier, much healthier than Milwaukee. Like, obviously, the Milwaukee Bucks were nowhere near being healthy in that series. Like, they weren't even close. Giannis missing the whole thing. Giannis is a guy that is one of the few players you could argue is the best player in the world. As well as Giannis, Middleton was hurt, and so was Dame Lillard at stages. So they were obviously very hurt. Like, they were even more hurt than Cleveland were against Boston. But Tyrese Haliburton, 26 points. He had 14 in the first quarter. Anytime the Knicks started to come back in the game today, because the Pacers, as I said earlier, I thought the Pacers were going to bring out. The game went almost exactly like I thought it was going to go. The Pacers were going to get a good start. The Knicks were going to try fight back, but it would take so much energy for them to fight back that eventually the Pacers were going to pull away. It was almost exactly how I predicted the game would go earlier. Because the game was going to go either one of two ways. It was going to either be a chippy game, back and forth, or the Knicks or the Pacers just had too much. Because, like, Pascal Siakam is an all-star level player. You've got Miles Turner, who's a really good center. And again, Miles Turner hit some big shots as well. Tyrese Haliburton is one of the best point guards in the league. And man, Aaron Nesmith. Like, Boston letting that guy go for nothing is crazy. Like, that guy is really good. And even without Benedict Mathurin, the Pacers are in the conference finals. And I don't know how Pacers are set up for the conference finals. Like, I really don't know if we're going to be seeing them compete with the Celtics. Because it is tough. Like, first game's on Tuesday. It's really tough when it comes to Pacers and Celtics to see what happens. Because the Celtics haven't switched on yet. And I think the Pacers are probably going to win one of the first 2 games. Like, the Pacers didn't miss today, obviously. Like, field goal percentage record, apparently, according to the chat, which is crazy. But the Pacers and Celtics are 2 teams that don't really play much defense, but are both 2 of the best offenses in the league. Like, this is where we see games end in the 120s, 140s. Because these 2 teams are just going out to outscore teams, which is weird for Boston considering the players they have. But, like, I don't see Porzingis coming back. I don't see Porzingis back in the playoffs. I think this is he's questionable, and he's just never coming back. I think Porzingis' injury is a lot worse than they let on. Like I said at the time, it looked worse than they let on. I don't see him playing the rest of the playoffs. I still think the Celtics have way too much firepower for this Pacers team. I think in the East, the only teams that would have had a chance against Boston, I think healthy New York, healthy Philly, healthy Milwaukee. Basically, the three of the teams that were injured. Three of the teams that were injured are the only ones that I would give a chance to. But when it comes to that Eastern Conference Finals, the longer it goes, the more I favor the Pacers. Because there's pressure on Boston, there's no pressure on the Pacers. And I know Boston have like a history of doing well in big games in the East. I know they lost Game 7 last year to the Heat, but they won 2 Game 7s the year before against Miami and against Giannis' Milwaukee team. I know Middleton wasn't playing for Milwaukee, but still, they do have like a history of winning big games in the East. Obviously, in the finals, I've only been there once, so it's really hard to judge how they are. But at the same time, when it comes to Boston, I'd say they've got a shot, or I'd say Pacers have a shot, but Boston are just enough. I think they're enough better than them that they're going to win the series. I think they're going to win it comfortably. If it goes to 6, I'd be shocked. But if the Pacers can get this to 2-2, which they could do, because the way the Pacers play with their offense and get hot, they could get hot 4 of 7 games. And when teams are firing like Indiana or even Boston, if they get hot 4 of 7, you're done. You're done if they get hot 4 of 7. So if they can make it 2-2, maybe one good game and one bad game from the Celtics, and then they get hot and go 3-2 up, then there's pressure on the Celtics, and we don't know how they're going to really react to it. They might react well, they might react badly. But I still think it's... Look, you have to be crazy to not predict the Celtics to win the series. And I predicted the Pacers to beat the Bucks at the start of the playoffs. I predicted the Western Conference. If Denver win, I have predicted the Western Conference entirely correct once the Pelicans got in. I actually don't know why I had the Kings beating the Thunder. And then when it was the Pelicans, I was like, you know what, Thunder are going to win that. So that's the thing where it's like, as far as rounds go, I would have predicted almost all that correct. I don't think anyone is predicting the Pacers to win. And if you're predicting the Pacers to win, you're just... I think it's crazy. But they might. They might. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I don't think it's formality. I don't think it's a guarantee. I don't think anything's really a guarantee when it comes to the way it's looking right now, when it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals, but still, the Celtics are the best team in the East, and it's not close. The Pacers struggled against a half a Knicks team. How are they going to beat a Celtics team, which I know Porzingis is down, but their 2 best players are healthy. Arguably their 3rd best player, Derek White, is healthy and hooping. And I know Drew Holiday kind of sucks, but I mean, Al Horford coming into the starting line, if you don't lose anything really with him instead of Porzingis, you just lose a bit of bench depth. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.